Thank you for being here and watching this video. If you enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. I want this channel to be more than just a collection of videos. I want it to be a community where we explore fascinating ideas, discuss them openly, learn from one another, and grow together. So don't stay silent, join the conversation. In the hyper-accelerated world, we are living through a silent crisis, the total bankruptcy of our cognitive resources. We often feel exhausted not because we are physically tired, but because our directed attention has been drained to the point of failure. This is where attention restoration theory, ART, pioneered by Stephen and Rachel Kaplan, becomes the most important psychological framework of our time. To understand ART, we must first look at the biological machinery of how we focus. Humans possess two distinct systems of attention. The first is directed attention. This is the voluntary, effortful focus you use when you are writing a report, calculating a budget, navigating a complex traffic jam, or reading a technical manual. It is a top-down process that requires the prefrontal cortex to actively inhibit distractions. Because this system requires energy to keep noise at bay, it is a finite resource. When you use it for too long without a break, you fall into a state known as directed attention fatigue, DAF. DAF is not just feeling tired. It is a physiological state where your brain's ability to regulate emotions, solve problems, and resist impulses begins to degrade. This is why, after a long day at the office, or hours spent staring at a screen, you become irritable, prone to making simple errors, and unable to focus even on things you enjoy. In our modern urban environments, we are constantly bombarded with hard fascination, loud sirens, flashing advertisements, and the urgent pings of digital notifications. These stimuli demand our attention instantly and aggressively. They don't give the brain a choice. Consequently, our directed attention system is forced to work overtime just to filter out the chaos so we can function. We are effectively living in a state of permanent cognitive overdraft, spending more mental energy than we are able to recover. The second system is involuntary attention, or what the Kaplans called fascination. This is the effortless focus that occurs when we see something naturally interesting, like the way sunlight filters through leaves, the movement of clouds, or the rhythm of ocean waves. This type of attention requires 0 calories from the brain. It is a bottom-up process that allows the prefrontal cortex to go offline and rest. Attention restoration theory proposes that the only way to truly recover from directed attention fatigue is to engage this involuntary system. Nature is the most potent restorative environment because it provides exactly what the fatigued brain needs. A space where the inhibitory mechanism of the brain can finally stop working. It isn't just about relaxing. It is about the functional recovery of the brain's executive center. The transition from a state of fatigue to a state of restoration is not instantaneous. It requires a specific environmental architecture. The Kaplans identified 4 critical components that make an environment restorative. The first is being away. This doesn't just mean physical distance from your office. It means a conceptual shift. You must feel that you are in a different psychological zone, where the rules of your daily stresses do not apply. If you are walking in a forest but checking your work emails every 5 minutes, you are not away. You are still burning directed attention. True restoration requires a total detachment from the to-do list of the ego. It requires a temporary surrender to the present moment, allowing the mind to detach from the temporal pressures of modern life. The second component is extent. For an environment to be restorative, it must feel like a whole world that is coherent and rich enough to explore. A single potted plant in a windowless room is a start, but it lacks extent. A vast park, a mountain range, or a beach provides a sense of scope that allows the mind to wander without hitting a metaphorical wall. This sense of vastness helps to shrink our personal problems, putting our daily stressors into a larger, more manageable perspective. When the environment has sufficient extent, It provides enough information to keep our fascination engaged without ever becoming overwhelming. This balance is the secret sauce of cognitive recovery. It allows the brain to transition from a task-oriented state to a reflective state, which is where the deepest healing occurs. We must stop viewing time in nature as a luxury or a hobby. We must view it as cognitive maintenance. Just as a car cannot run indefinitely without an oil change, the human brain cannot function at a high level without regular periods of restoration. The rise in anxiety, burnout, and ADHD symptoms in our society is directly linked to the depletion of our directed attention. We are trying to run 21st century software on biological hardware that evolved for the savannah. Attention restoration theory provides the manual for how to bridge that gap. The third and arguably most vital component of attention restoration theory is soft fascination. To understand why this is so effective, we have to distinguish it from hard fascination. Hard fascination is what you feel when you watch a high-octane action movie, play a fast-paced video game, or watch a viral video. These things hold your attention, but they do so by overstimulating you. They are loud and leave no room for internal reflection. Soft fascination, on the other hand, is provided by natural patterns, often referred to as fractals. Think of the complex but non-threatening patterns of a snowflake, the veins of a leaf, or the shimmering of water. These stimuli are interesting enough to hold your attention effortlessly, but quiet enough to allow for mind wandering. This mind-wandering state is where the magic happens. When our involuntary attention is gently held by nature, our thoughts are free to roam. This is the period when the brain engages the default mode network, DMN. The DMN is responsible for self-reflection, making sense of past experiences, and creative problem solving. In a city, your DMN is constantly interrupted by the need to not get hit by a car, or to respond to a notification. In nature, the DMN can run its full cycle. This is why your best ideas often come to you while walking in a park or taking a shower. Moments where directed attention is low and soft fascination is high. RT suggests that nature isn't just helping you rest, it's helping you integrate your life. It provides the cognitive space for your brain to file away information and resolve internal conflicts. The final component is compatibility. This means the environment must align with what the person wants to do and is capable of doing. If a person hates being outdoors or is terrified of the ocean, a beach will not be restorative for them. The directed attention they should be recovering would instead be spent on managing their fear or discomfort. For restoration to occur, there must be a fit between the individual and the setting. This is why urban planning in 2026 is shifting toward biophilic design. We are starting to understand that we can't just force people into the woods. We need to bring the restorative elements of the woods into our offices, hospitals, and schools. By incorporating natural light, indoor plants, and views of greenery, we can create micro-restorative environments that provide small doses of compatibility throughout the workday. The data supporting ART is overwhelming. Research shows that even a 40-second micro break spent looking at a flowering roof garden can significantly increase a student's performance on a subsequent attention-heavy task. Another famous study by Roger Ulrich showed that hospital patients with a view of trees recovered faster and required less pain medication than those staring at a brick wall. This is because the restorative environment lowered their stress levels and replenished the cognitive energy needed for physical healing. In the workplace, employees with access to natural views report higher job satisfaction and lower levels of burnout. We are seeing a shift where green time is being prescribed by doctors as a legitimate medical intervention, a nature pill with no side effects. However, we face a major obstacle in 2026, the digital feedback loop. Many people believe they are resting when they scroll through social media or watch TV. In reality, these activities often require directed attention to process the rapid-fire information and hard fascination that keeps the brain in a state of high arousal. This is a form of pseudo-restoration. You feel like you've taken a break, but you return to your work feeling even more drained. Attention restoration theory teaches us that true rest is analog. It requires low-intensity, high-coherence stimuli. To truly restore our focus, we must consciously trade our screens for soft environments. We need to rediscover the art of doing nothing in a place that offers us everything. The rustle of wind, the smell of rain, and the vast, unhurried extent of the natural world. In conclusion, attention restoration theory is the user manual for the human mind in an age of distraction. It reminds us that our ability to think, create, and empathize is tied to our relationship with the environment. We are not machines that can be on 24/7. We are biological organisms that require specific inputs for recovery. By prioritizing green spaces and understanding the mechanics of soft fascination, we can reclaim our cognitive sovereignty. We can move from a state of constant fatigue and irritability to a state of clarity and purpose. The world isn't going to get any quieter or less demanding, so it is up to us to build restorative rhythms into our lives. Step away, find extent, lean into soft fascination. Ensure your environment is compatible with your soul. Your brain will thank you. Thank you for watching all the way through. I really appreciate you being here. Let me know what you think about the ideas in this video, and feel free to share your own perspective or advice in the comments. I genuinely like to read it. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please like the video and subscribe. My hope is to build not just a channel, but a community where people explore meaningful ideas, exchange thoughts, and grow together. See you in the next videos. Bye.